Hello everyone, this video is not sponsored. I bought this Mercedes 300 SL from the Mattel brick shop, pre-ordering it at $120 US. The most expensive I've seen it at retail is $130. This has 1,600 pieces, comes with a 1/64th scale little Hot Wheels with a display case, and it has some metal pieces as well as some different options for how to build the main thing. I'm not a Hot Wheels collector, so folks in the comments will be able to explain to you the exact significance of precisely what you're looking at here, its exact grade and its line and all that. But it's, it's just a little Hot Wheels car. It comes with a very nice little display case, had just a couple very small scuffs on it, but I think it's pretty nice. It has an adjustable base to it to hold different wheel bases. And this one is not your standard, most cheap and expensive normal one for kids. It's a little bit elevated. It has the opening doors and detailed interior. But again, to me, this is just a nice little bonus. This is what we're here for, though. I've been really looking forward to these since they were first announced. This is the largest, most expensive of the Mattel Brick Shop initial wave of vehicles. And the build process for it felt very good to me. I was happy with the level of detail. I was happy with how it went together. I'll tell you some more stuff about that. The quality of the parts was fine, in my personal opinion. Felt a little bit better than Mega parts. They have updated the molds, but I don't know how much they updated them. All of the studs say, or all of the pieces that have studs say Mattel on the top rather than Mega Blocks or Mega Constructs or MCX now. So they've unified the line, but everything felt like it had just slightly better clutch power, higher clutch power than the Mega parts before, which to me is neither good nor bad. It just meant you had to push a little bit harder and then stuff stays together better. That's not to say that I had any problems before with the clutch power of the Mega parts since 2014 when they updated everything and drastically increased their quality. This has no stickers, so anything that looks like a decoration is a print or possibly even painted. In this case right here for the Mercedes emblem in the center, that's a metal piece, and I'll point out some of the other metal pieces as we go. The bumpers are done with a very, very fine, very fine. You'll see a bunch of parts in that finish. Metallic finish, that's a paint on the top. I don't know exactly how it was applied, but the metal flake is really fine. Probably some of the finest that I have seen on anything mass produced, especially in the toy and hobby world. Very nice finish there. Not 100% consistency. You might see a little bit of difference in level of reflectiveness, but it's pretty darn good. You see some nice prints around the bezels here as well. Nice. Well, let's get to this. Specialized parts. Specialized part there. Specialized part there. Very specialized one-off windshield, and the rear windows, like those are made specifically for this car. This door is made specifically for this car. Some fans of the brick don't like that. Really don't like that. Really think that it's cheating. Really think that it cheapens the whole idea of making something with bricks. I personally disagree. I think that the main Danish brand that is most known has done a ton of specialized parts that its own fans forgive it for, but it's a completely subjective thing. Had this been made with, or had this been designed with fewer specialized parts, it would look significantly worse, period. Yes, it's nice when designers go above and beyond to make something that looks pretty darn good, but you're not going to get this level of accuracy without adding more parts to the part inventory that you have to work with. And so they made a choice here, and I respect that. And I also respect the fact that not everybody will like that. I like the print around here as well, giving you all of the trim, also in silver. Back here, you got some prints. These are clearly lined up. See, it goes right to the edge. These, oh my gosh, these are so cool. The tail lights, you got the brake lights are printed on one side. The turn signals are printed on 3 sides. It's actually printed on the top and the bottom with almost no gap in there. Pretty enjoyable. And then the wheels are they're actually 3 pieces. So there are 2 pieces on the inside. Technically 4, but the tires come fused to it. I think it's clamped together with a plastic piece and then a metal piece. And then there's another metal piece that you add on, which is removable by us, easily removable. It's just clamped on to give you the design of the hubcap there. This is a print. That's print down there. again with these nice, very, very fine metallic flake pieces. I probably could have aligned that a little bit better right there. Oh, this is metal as well. And well, let me open this up so you can see more of what you really get here. See how this presents more like a model car or more like a die cast than a brick built thing? That's really the intent here. The intent is for these to be buildable objects that are stand-ins for high-end models that would cost significantly more, or I should say, or require a significantly increased amount of effort as well as skill. Normally models, this is roughly 12th scale, supposedly. Normally models like this, if you're going to get them in 12th scale, are either going to be like die cast or resin, in which case they are just crazy expensive, ridiculously, or you're going to need to spend weeks and weeks and have great skill to cut the parts out, file and sand and make sure that everything fits together well, paint every single piece individually, and then glue it all together. It's a whole different thing. Here, I was able to just build this during a single Twitch stream yesterday afternoon, and it's done, and it looks great. Looking at the interior, there are just entirely too many prints for the entire console going all the way across. Also, your center rear view mirror there is another die-cast metal piece, just because they wanted to do something different. But all of these line up because I'm pretty sure that they were placed onto a jig and then printed all together. This is all pad printed, so it's all flat, but it's darn nice. I mean, if it is UV printed, I mean, there's a tiny bit of texture there. If it is UV printed, it's the highest quality UV print I've ever come across, but I believe it's pad printed. And the same thing goes for the seats there, for the design for the upholstery. That's pretty nice. You can see there's the fitted luggage in the back as well, which has a couple of straps going around it just to make it a little bit more realistic as well. The thing that I liked here the most, I'm trying not to gush about this, but it's hard. The thing I like most here is the gear shift knob. The fact that is printed with the gate pattern, and it's good quality print, and you can actually move this around because it's on a ball joint with a nice piece down at the base. This has so many pieces, not specialized pieces, but pieces that if you've only seen one manufacturer's brick things before, you've never seen, that are just way more useful than traditional basic bricks. This does have a nice steering system in there. Let me lift this up so you can see that turn. It is linked up, has a pretty decent turning radius, I have to say, and it's actually embedded in pretty nicely. And you spent a good amount of time building the engine. They've even got suggestions of some wires over here. That's just one single piece. Again, silicone style of part, but not too annoying to put together. You don't have to route individual wires all around, but pretty nice detail in here. And I do like how the hood or the bonnet comes down. There's a little bit of extra, sorry for the focus there, a little bit of extra spot where you have to push this down. And you see what happened right there? Yeah, that's the hood release. So you push this in, see how it's flat, it's flush right now. Push this in down here and it just pops it a little bit. The realism there is pretty nice. I appreciate that. It's a nice touch without standing out too much in a bad way. And then back here at the boot, the trunk. Well, there's a spare in there. You also got the little lever to keep it up. You got a spare, and that is unfortunately not exactly the same as the standard wheels, but look at that. It does have the Technic hole on it. It does come with the tire, which is very nice, fairly thick, good quality here. And it has the steely style of, spare design. So there's what that looks like in place. Unfortunately, when you do run just the spare, you do see a little bit of that off-colored pin on the inside, which otherwise you don't see off-colored parts throughout this set, but just right there in that particular case, the way that these are done, this is just wild. So there you can see on the back. Now that I have this off, this insert is silver plastic, but then you can see the die-cast metal bits as well. And I think I can do this. Yes, perfect. So there's all die-cast metal on that side, and then this is all die-cast metal here with a nice baked enamel finish, I believe, on the outside of it. And there's what it looks like underneath. It's pretty solid. This thing is extraordinarily heavy between the number of parts and just how dense the parts are. And then adding in also the metal pieces, the actual metal pieces, including this little plaque, which can pop off. They have a special part to hold that in, to clip it in place, but it has a Technic pin sized hole here, and you can use that. It's convenient that that's the size, but you're intended to use this as a keychain if you want to. Notice how smooth this is on the underside here. They didn't have to smooth that in quite as much as they did, but it's nice to see. This thing is just so full of parts that I have never seen before. Designs, useful parts that I've personally never seen before, even though I have experienced the works of many different brick manufacturers in the past. And now I need to deal with this stuff here. These are parts that are used to make this into more of a racing style conversion. You upgrade the set optionally, put in a bucket seat, change out the wheels with the knockoff hubs for easy and quick changing. You have different exhausts. You got the side exhaust rather than the thin single pipe, bit of a roll cage, the different headlights, the fog lights as well. So I'm going to spend some time taking some things off the main car and putting these on so you can see that alternate form. All right, I've got to say this was a much more involved transformation than I expected. It's not a matter of just swapping out a handful of pieces. And I did have some of the kind of sub-assemblies that you swap out already built before I started the process. But there's a whole lot that happens here along the front end. You take the bumper off, you change the shaping of the body right around the corners. These are new. The build in here is a little bit different as well. You add this air deflector thing, which I tried to look up what its exact purpose was. I thought it was related to rain, but I honestly don't know exactly what it was for, but it's definitely something that was used on some of the race cars like the SLRs. Here you've got the exhaust, which looks great. I love that. The side pipes, and they're fluted. They're kind of big. I like the angle and the offset of them. Yeah, very good. Here are the alternate wheels on there as well. And then inside you got the bucket seat, as well as the suggestion of a little bit of roll cage in the back, which you can mostly see through the rear window there. So you take out some of the stuff that's related to holding down the luggage, and I think the rear stayed the same. Yeah, but some of the stuff underneath it might have align that. Just there we go. It's a little bit better. Some of the stuff under here had to be swapped out as well. Like it's a fair amount of stuff that actually gets changed out to swap over to this version. I might have aligned one of these or both of them wrong. Sorry about that. The fog lights, but yeah, it changes things up and gives you a different option. Definitely a more sporty looking thing. I don't know if this exact look is based off a specific car. There weren't too many that had the very specialized racing conversions on them. The SLRs, there were 3 of them in total. But I didn't look into it too deeply. But I think that each component of this seems to make sense historically. I just don't know if all of them came together at once in one car. Here's one additional thing that you can do. You can put some stickers on. Yep, it would be wrong. It would be a lie to say this set didn't come with stickers, but you could also be forgiven for saying it doesn't come with stickers or doesn't use stickers because you build the whole thing without stickers. These are optional. So you got some numbers here. They're probably barely visible there, but some numbers and some number plates, just plain number plates. Those the black circles. So you put the numbers on top of that, and then also your eyebrow, your brow to put across the top here for the visor, and a couple sponsor decals as well, or stickers you can put on. And again, optionally, I'm not going to put any of those on because the thing is just too beautiful in its standard form, but it's cool. It didn't cost them too much. I feel like probably most people won't put those sorts of stickers on, but here's an official render of what it could look like. While I've got the instructions up, I figured I'd show you just a little bit of what that looks like on the inside. Folks get really worried about instructions. If it's not from the Danish brand, is it going to be terrible? No, it's perfectly fine. I had no trouble following these instructions, and the number of pieces that you open up for a given set of steps, the number of pieces that you will have on your desk at any one time loose is very, very reasonable. They don't have you opening up bag after bag after bag after bag, and wanting to pre-sort the parts. No, it's very reasonable. Definitely very user-friendly, I think. The worst thing about the entire build, honestly, was doing the front fenders. It just has there's a little bit of hollow involved in there. Let me take a wheel off, but when you're trying to attach some of the major pieces there, I did encounter this again when I was taking it apart and making the adjustments here. There are some bits in here, it's just a little bit hollowed out where it's difficult to get good purchase. Actually, I had not pushed that piece right there all the way down. My bad. Difficult to get good purchase, and some of the spots where you might push against other unsupported areas of it, so it may want to kind of fall out just underneath here. Just be careful with it. Just make sure that you're just squeezing things together appropriately and that nothing else is coming apart as you do it, and you'll get it. But like I said, that's the worst thing that I encountered the whole time, and it really wasn't that bad. It just took a minute to get used to it. Here's a quick size comparison against the latest large collector car model from the Danish brand. I just figured folks would want to see the difference in size. If I'm not mistaken, the AC Cobra, Shelby Cobra in this case, is a significantly smaller car in real life than the Gullwing 300 SL was. So this isn't quite the most fair comparison in terms of scale. Again, this is supposed to be 12th scale. This is supposed to be roughly around 11th scale. These tend to be something in that range, but it's going to vary a little bit. I think that Mattel has the ability to get theirs a little bit closer to a target scale because they are using some more specialized pieces. But this just gives you a general idea of what you're looking at in terms of volume of stuff. Of course, not including this, not including the huge pile of parts that I swapped out to put it into the semi-racing form. But when you start thinking about value, this is $160 for 1,241 pieces, I believe it was. This is $120 for 1,600 pieces, which also include all of these things here and a whole die-cast car. One other thing, for what little it's worth, this car weighs 1 pound, 11.6 ounces, or just 27.6 ounces, or 782 grams. This is 610 grams more. I teared to the other car. So, yeah, 1,391 grams, 1.39 kilograms there. We're looking at 3 pounds, 1.1 ounce, or 49 ounces. And that's just for the parts of the race version, which I believe is actually lighter than the street version. These are the leftover parts. This is their brick separator. The orange pieces were temporary parts. And if you've only messed around with the Danish brand, please hit pause here and just look around at some of the things that are on the table right now. Some of them are very useful pieces for all sorts of things and just stuff that you may have never seen before. Some of them are really, really cool. After the initial reveal, I had dangerously high expectations for this set. I was kind of setting myself up for some disappointment. But after building this one, at least, can't speak for the others yet, stay tuned, different scales. After building this one, my expectations have not only been met, they've actually been surpassed. This is definitely more than I thought that I was getting into. It feels like I've gotten more than I thought I was paying for. And I think that the value on the market is good. Again, worst thing about it for a lot of folks who are used to the Danish brand is that it does use some highly specialized parts to make it look great. If you don't like that, that's completely understandable. It's just a choice. I definitely wouldn't recommend pooing Mattel for making that choice. I think it's a very, very valid choice. It's a choice that many companies have made that just want to make things that people can assemble that will look great, significantly better than if they had not included more specialized parts. But if you're not into that, you're not into that. And again, that's completely understandable. But I'm into it. This has a lot of pieces. There's 1,600 pieces in this set. It's a lot. It's quite a significant build. It's not like it felt like a dumbed down build just because a few pieces are, specific to this car. The overwhelming majority of it is not specific to this car. And I'm happy with it. Felt like the parts are even refreshed. That might be a little bit of Mandela effect, but I've built mega things relatively recently, relatively recent builds, and this just felt like the parts were sticking together just slightly better. Not that there was anything wrong with them before. It's just that this feels like it really wants to stay assembled. It feels like they want to last for some decades to come. So this was just the opening volley, the opening salvo, and another rebrand, another relaunch of Mattel's brick attempts. And I will probably build the NSX next, which is a slightly smaller scale and slightly down on the quality scales in terms of how many extras they include and just how far they go with some of the included parts, how much metal and such. But I'll continue to evaluate these things. I've heard some bad things about some of these sets, so I'm like I said, I'm gonna keep my mind open, and I'm gonna try not to get too biased in any direction. I already said, like I said, set my expectations too high. Thankfully, that wasn't something that came back to bite me. But hey, who knows? Maybe that NSX isn't so great, or maybe one of the smaller ones isn't so great. I will check some more out and share with you right here on this channel. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much for your support, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.